T for technologies. O. M for medicine. S for sport. K for knowledge. Tomsk, get inspired.
So we hope the connection is good and the sound is good. Everyone can hear us. Today we are going to discuss three main topics. The first one about our bachelor program itself, about what and how we teach here. It will be told to you by Danila Sokolov, the head of Digital Development Department of TSU programmer, our lecturer and tutor. The second topic is going to be about Tomsk city itself, what to do here in your spare time, what TSU suggests to our students. That will be told by me, Agnia Shlikova, manager of international students at Higher IT School. And the third one will be told to you by international admissions manager of Higher IT School, Eva Burbo. She's going to tell you how to apply to our program. And right now, I pass the word to Danila Sokolov to tell you about our program.
Hello everyone, I hope you can hear me really well. I am also the operator of this stream, so I'm sorry if there is any problem with the sound or the picture. I think there is everything okay now. Please text in the comments if everything is fine. I can see the comments right now, so I will be glad if you will do that. Meanwhile, I will set up the presentation for you. And I hope that someone will text us that you can see and hear us. Okay, since no one is texting, yeah, everything is fine. Very nice. Okay, so we can start then. Okay, there's supposed to be a presentation now. And everything is fine. Wonderful. 3 seconds, please. Yeah, I'm ready. Agnia, your word.
You are going to tell about the program right now, Daniel, please.
Yeah, but your word with the beginning of the presentation?
The word at the beginning of the presentation about Higher IT School in general, right?
All right. Okay, let's me start then. Okay, guys, I am one of the teachers of the Higher IT School in Tom State University, and at this picture you can see our main campus. So let's start our presentation. Let's talk a little bit about Higher IT School and software engineering degree in general. Our school was founded 3 years ago by the team of our software engineering department. So we are on the educational market for many years, and 3 years ago we decided to create our own Higher IT School because we wanted to change the way the software engineering should be taught in Russia. So we created our Higher IT School, our program, together with our business partners. Our business partners are real IT companies located in Russia and other countries, international companies too, that help us to create the program that will satisfy the requirements of the actual business. So we are not the school that only creates our rules by ourselves only. We work in collaboration with IT companies. we use computer science curriculum guide in order to teach you. And computer science curriculum guide is international standard of IT education that is being used in many countries such as USA, US, and others. So this standard was created by 300 universities and companies, global universities and global IT companies, and this is world standard for IT education. We combine the Russian standards with the curriculum guide in order to create an educational plan that will be both fitting in Russia and worldwide. We studied the worldwide practice of teaching, and we created our approach based on that. We also participate in such event as World Skills Championship. This is the championship movement about professions. It's a professional championship. There are many professions, not only IT, and mostly it's not on IT professions, but there's a few sub-challenges, championships in this championship that is about IT. We have national prizes for first, second, and third places in such nominations as web development, mobile development, and we also have our teachers, who is the national trainers, the trainer of the national team. This is Ivanova Lydia Sergeyevna, who is the national trainer for one of the competitions. And our victories is one of the way to show that we know what we're doing in terms of professional development. I will tell about the curriculum itself a little bit later, so I'll talk about the main subjects, and right now I would like to talk about who are software engineering. So the main question is, is the difference between software engineering man and computer science? The both of those programs, software engineering program and computer science program, are about computer. So someone might ask, what's the difference? Why should I go to software engineering instead of computer science? So the difference basically is about your focuses. So when you are a computer science guy, then you have a wide focus, but mostly you are about fundamental stuff like fundamental algorithms and fundamental mathematics. But when you're a software engineering person, there is a difference. You focusing on creating an application, so you know more about how to create a product by combining different approaches, different algorithms, and different mechanics, rather than having very narrow knowledge. So we are not studying really deep mathematics here, because software engineer by default don't have to know really deep mathematics. You have to know have a good math basic, which is the same as MIT IT math. We're using the class of MIT math in order to teach you the math. So this is enough for you to be a programmer. Programmer is a guy who develops an application. By development is not only the coding itself. So the difference between software engineer and computer science is also that you are not only a coder. So your main goal is not only to create an app by coding. You also have to know how to design an application. And I'm not talking about the graphical design. You should know how to design the inner structure of application, how different models should work with each other, how you will develop the application. Before its development even started, you have to plan, you have to design. And this is few steps of app development. And software engineer is a guy that have to know everything about app development, not only the coding stuff. So it's a bit wider than computer science. The computer science is really good if you're going to be in fundamental stuff. For example, fundamental math, fundamental algorithmics. But it doesn't say that software engineering and computer science are competing in terms of one is better than other. No. The computer science and software engineering are work together. The computer science guy might develop a new algorithm that software engineering guy will use to build an app. So that's how collaboration work. So, as I said, computer science studying is a broad sense. So you can learn a lot about fields in computer science, but later you should do a narrow specialization. This is necessary for you. And as I said, mostly computer science are mathematicians. And you know a lot in computer theory and how to design computer systems. While software engineering offers in detailed training in software production, development, maintenance, quality assurance, embedded software, and app development, such as games and entertainment. So maybe software engineers study a little less of fundamental mathematics than computer science, but that's supposed to be more than sufficient in order to create an applications. So after completing a degree in software engineering, one can directly start working as a developer. We have a lot of alumni that have graduated our software engineering department before we started our higher IT school that became lead developers, managers, and company owners all around the world. So software engineering guy is not so narrow, because inside of this specialization, you can choose what exactly will you do. You can specialize in analysis, you can specialize in web development, you can specialize in mobile development, you can be the team leader, project manager, and so on. All of that is a part of software engineering. And we taught a little bit of everything of that. So let's talk more about program features. When I said that we teach a little bit of everything, it doesn't mean that we teach so much of stuff without going deep. That would be a problem. So our goal is to teach you how to be a junior developer in first 2 years. That 2 years is very intense. You have to learn a lot of stuff in these 2 years. But after doing so, you are going to be able to have a practice in a real company. So next 2 years is about practicing in a real companies. In order to do so, the first 2 years are supposed to be about basic stuff, such as math, web development, mobile development, well, the basic of development itself, of course. And we also taught in the first 2 years many classes that are about your soft skills. So what's the difference between soft skills and hard skills? Hard skills are your IT skills, so the skills related directly to IT. How good you can develop this app or another depends on your hard skills. Like if you are really good web developer, your web development hard skills are really high. But hard skills are not the only thing that you should have. The soft skills are really important. Soft skills is a thing such as the ability to present, the ability to work in a team, the ability to write a proper text. So this is your soft skill. It's not directly related to your development, to development of the application, like in terms of coding, but it's really important to development in terms of creating the product. And the reason is that in our modern world, it's really impossible to do a big application alone. There's a few examples of that, but most of the global companies, as far as you know, have many developers. Google, Apple, Microsoft, IBM, all of them have a lot of developers. And developers should know how to interact with each other, how to work as a team while creating the code, how to go to the meetings, how to present during the meetings, and stuff like that. Being a good person is also part of the soft skills, and we have many subjects that will help you with that. For example, we have a class about history, but in our school, we do not teach you to remember the dates and events only. Our main goal in our history class is to teach you to understand the links between events. So you should understand why the event have occurred rather than when it occurred. So you can have a basic analytic skill during the first year. That is our approach. We try to teach you both hard skills and soft skills in all of our classes as much as we can. So our program is basically student-centered. It means that we try to do as much good for you as we can. It doesn't mean that we'll go easy on you if you don't want to have hard subjects. It just means that we try to do as much as we can for student in general. So it both hard for first 2 years, but we always think how to make good for you, not in a short time, but in a long time. So when you will have your diploma, you will actually have as much of the skills you can. Basically, during our classes, you are being taught to learn by yourself. It means that you have classes where you have materials like the short books and guidelines, how to deliver an app and do stuff like this. But further on, you have less and less of that. You have guidance, you have help of the teachers, but when the teacher give you the task, you should learn how to find information for yourself. Because searching for information is a really important soft skill in our time. We have Google, we have Wikipedia, we have a lot of websites. So you as a student will eventually learn how to figure your problem by yourself. It doesn't mean the teacher will not help you. It just means that you should try to do something first by yourself. We are not practicing an approach that will be like the teacher is showing something and students repeat. Instead of that, you will always try to do something by yourself, because making mistakes is a great teacher. If you have a problem, the teacher will help you, but you have to try to do something first. That is the core of our approach. This is not copy-pasting teacher's code. It's never like this. It's always understanding of what you are actually doing. So you should understand what you have done in order to be able to repeat that in the future. So the difference between university and a school, that in university, teacher is not the one who just show you what to do, is the man who should give you the guidance and giving you feedback on your problem, on your solution, like if you've done it right, how can it be done in a better way? This is the main goal for the university's professor. We have a good example of that, by the way. We have a student, the second year student from China, who have found a part-time job in Hong Kong Polytechnic University, which is really big and important university in China. It's one of the first one, maybe number one. And he found a scientific job, he connected to the professor, and now he has his own thesis wrote in the collaboration of this professor. So this is the example of how you can do something by yourself. The teacher in our program is approachable. So we are not having the distance between our students. So you can ask questions not only regarding the subject, but in general. If this is part of teacher's area of expertise. You can ask the mobile development teacher of whether or not your approach of development application for yourself is good or not. You can ask a web development teacher if you're doing good if studying extra libraries, technologies, and approaches. We're always happy to help with that. During the first year, we have a subject called Introduction to Programming. This is our main subject in the first year. It goes for both of the semesters. And we have a special application that checks your code. So you have a list of tasks, like issues, and you have to create the solution for that. And while doing so, you have the teacher to help. But the first one to check your solution, if you think that it's okay, is the software. Software checks your code, whether or not it's working or not. So that's how you can check if you're doing okay or not without calling for a teacher every time. That can help you to study everywhere and anytime you have a free time. You just submit a solution to the eJudge system and it gives you the answer whether or not you're okay. And teacher can help you if you're stuck. If you have a problem, teacher can give you the guidance. But as you can see, you don't have to ask a teacher for checking every time. We try to automate processes as much as we can in order to help you to move forward as fast as you can. And our eJudge system, our website with tasks, have many tasks. So you don't have to solve them all. You have to solve enough to gain some points for specific subjects, such as array, loop, or conditions. When you have enough points, you've proven that you know enough of that. So you can choose either to do many simple tasks or just a few difficult. So depending on your own level of programming, of your own set of skills, you can decide how to study during this subject. And as I said, this is our first 2 years. So you have a lot of subjects really necessary for you. Most of them are about development or about soft skills such as history, as I told you. But what happens next? Second 2 years are both studying and internship. The internship in a real IT companies. We have our list of partners and they provide the vacancies for our third and fourth year student. And this is obligatory. I'm going to show that in detail in the next slide. But our students here who come to the practice are working on a real cases. So they're developing the real application for business. And this is the core of our education idea. We think that after studying for 4 years, you will have both knowledge and the practice. And this practice will not be about coding in a bubble. You'll be coding for a real company, which means that your skills will be real. You'll have experience for 2 years actual development. This is the scheme of our collaboration with our partners. So basically what we have here, we have in the middle of that, we have higher IT school and we have our students. We take them, we study them for 2 years in order to give you the skill. It's not only the knowledge, you have to try as much as you can. You have to do instead of read. So our program not only student-centered, it's also a practice-centered, which means that practice goes first than the theory. You'll have to do a lot of programming during first year, like a lot, and even more in the second year. After that, if you do really well in these classes, it's not going to be a problem for you to go to the company. So first 2 years will give you a hell of amount of practice. But you will gain the junior skill level. After you get junior skills level, you will go to the middle. So our goal is to make you a junior at the end of the second year. But after that, you will work for a company. You might finish the internship in a company being a junior, which is okay. There is a wrong perspective for a wrong view for juniors. Some people think that junior is something bad. That is the fault of marketing. The marketing taught you that being a junior is not good, which is not. Internship, like by default, is less than the junior. So junior developer is a good developer, is a developer who can do stuff by himself with the guidance from the more experienced developers, but it means that he can work by himself. That's what junior basically means. So you can finish the internship being the junior, which is not bad, but you can also become a middle development, which is really good because most of development that is required on the market is middle development. Senior development is someone who have worked for 10,000 hours, as you can see on this diagram on the slide. And this is really skilled person that is not required in all of the companies. Most of the companies in the world, successful companies, use middle developer as their main force. Oh, I have a question here. The question is, how is the selection for an internship in companies carried out generally? Well, that is quite simple. Our companies, our partners, state how much student they're willing to take. After that, after the results of second year is known, we have list of students sorted in the terms of their study points. So the best way, the better you study, the more points you gain. After that, after they are ranked by descending of these points, people are going to the interviews for a company. So everyone can go for as much companies as he wants in order to get an invite from a company. So let's say that every person get an invite for 1 or 2 or 3 companies. We have students who get invites to all of our partner companies, which is also possible. It depends on you, how much interview you want to go. So no one tells you to which company you should go for interview. It's your choice. You come for a company, you have an interview. After that, the company decides whether or not they want you to be their intern. If they do, you will have a proper invitation. So you have an invite. After all of the students finish their interviews, we have your list of students sorted, descended by the points, and we have list of invites for every student. So starting for the first student with the higher score, he will decide to which company from the list of invites he will go for an internship. So he chose one company, and this company lost one available space because this student took this space. And then we go again and again. The second student in this list chose his company, the third, the first, and students can choose while there is available vacancies. The vacancies usually is more than enough, but we also have one extra partner, which is the university itself. The university is also an IT company because we have an IT department, such as mine, for example. And everyone who, for some reason, doesn't have enough vacancies in the companies. For example, he was chosen only for one company and there is no more space, no more vacancies for that. So he goes to have an internship in the university. And what will happen with people who doesn't have any invites? The answer, the same. All of the people who doesn't have invites is also have practice in IT department of the university. So you will also have 2 years of practice. Everyone have that with no problem. Okay, I hope I answered your question and I can continue. So as I said, after first 2 years, you have the basics. You are basically a junior. And now you have to choose where to have a practice. We not only have practice in our companies, we have 2 extra cases. So the first approach is going to a company for a practice, as I told you. The second way, you can go for scientific route. What does it mean? The scientific route means that you can choose to be a science person, a scientist. So you can go for software engineering science, pick any area of expertise you'd like, and start working there. You will have a curator from the university who will help you to do science work. And you will not have to go for any company for a practice, because your practice will be a research. So you'll become a proper scientist at the end of these 2 years. The third way is entrepreneurship. What does it mean? It means that you can start your own company after second year. How is it possible? That's simple. At second year, at the second semester, second term, you have a special subject about entrepreneurship, about startups. So you have a chance to create your own startup with a teacher. And if your startup will be good, you'll be shown to a real life investor. And if investor will say that your startup is good for him, if he wants to pay you the money, and you will agree on delivering the product you shown in your startup, you will create a real life company with help and share of the university. So at the end of the second year, you might end up with your own company. For example, you have a team for 3 person, and you will have company for this 3 person and the university. But there might be a chance that 2 out of 3 person will decide not to create a company. So you can be the only one who will create the company with the university. This is possible. So, and if you will have your own company, you can choose to use this company as your practice. So you'll be practicing with yourself, basically. The teachers and university staff will help you to run the company. It will help with the law, they help you with economics, and they help with development itself. So you will not be alone with this practice. You will be with the teachers. So this is 3 basic routes of your practicing for 2 last years. And the staff from our partners came to the university to have lectures. Every company have at least 1 lecture for you. Some teachers have a full semester of lectures for you. So our partners work with us really tight, and you can know them really soon. For example, the mobile development class is being taught by the teacher from the Code company, which is the second on this picture. And she also helped with the CFT company, which is the first one. So as you can see, our partners are not partners on paper. They're actual partners. They're helping us with teaching. They're helping us to evaluate whether or not we study students good. If they don't like it, they can tell us, and we will change our program. By the way, our program is being changed constantly. Every year, we collect our feedback from the companies and from the students and also from the teachers. And every year we decide what to change. So every next year is different from a previous, at least a little bit. Sometimes the content of a subject change. Sometimes we create a new subject. So we are trying to be as flexible as possible in order to deliver the best product for you as much as we can. So I give my word to the next speaker, Eva.
Maybe we can now thank you again, Danila, for your words about the program. And I suggest to have a look at the video about our program, because we have got a lot of information, kind of theoretical information about our bachelor degree. And now let's see how does it look in pictures.
We strive to be as open to our students as possible. All our professors are easy approachable. The same is true for our business partners who closely interact with the program management and students. We believe that by linking society, business and education, we'll be able to provide our students with all necessary skills and knowledge in the future.
Opportunity to learn from those who really work in IT field. Almost everyone, including our program director, works on their startups or in IT companies in Tomsk, which is good. And also we have guests, for example, from America or from Germany, who tell us their experience, which is also really cool.
I like the competition mode presented in this program. During the first 2 months of my studies, I've already participated in WorldSkills and Hackathon. It is an amazing opportunity to apply what was learned in class in real-world situations. Also, we work a lot in teams, which make us good friends outside the classroom.
And now I'm ready to pass the word to Ivo Burbo, International Admissions Manager. She will tell you about the process of applying to our program itself. So, Ivo, please.
Agnia, thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. I hope you have enough information about the program itself. Daniela really told a lot of detailed information about what is going on in our program. So now let's discuss in more detail how to apply. So the application process is quite simple because regardless of where you live, you can do that online. You just need to access our online website, which is admissions.tsu.ru. You can use this QR code that you can see on the slide, and you will be able to enter the website. In a second, I'll try to show you my screen so that you can see how does the admissions process looks like. So I hope you are able to see my screen right now. Does that work? Colleagues, blink to me. Yes. So as you can see above, this is admissions.tsu.ru. This is a totally random person, our test version of admissions account, where I can show you how do you do this. So basically what you do, you enter this website, TSU Admissions, you click on registration, and you get a possibility to register. You register, you see there your profile, what's going on there. So you have to enter your full name. It doesn't matter if you do not know how to write your full name in Russian language, because this is not important at the first stage. You just need to fill up the English version of your name. If you do know how to write your Russian name, that's fantastic. You can enter that as well. Then you need to enter the details as your birthday, gender, nationality, country. We strongly advise everyone to enter their address. Also, you can do that solely in English. You do not need to do that in Russian if you do not know. Also, for the best contacts, we advise to enter your international phone number. That is also easy if, for example, we need to contact you via any messengers like WhatsApp or some others. After you fill in the personal data, you click Save. Now I do a little bit different procedure just to showing you, but for you, if you register, you click Save, and then the page will drop you to another place. That means the choice of the program. Here you can see that you can choose the language of instruction of the program. If you choose English, you can see the levels of education. So you need, if you want to choose software engineering, you need to choose bachelor degree. And here you will be able to see the programs. Since here we have chosen already software engineering, this is not showing up in the education programs, but if it's nothing in the selected programs list, you can choose a software engineering degree. You as well click, you will have a button save, you just need to click it and done. Another important section is documents about yourself. So what do you enter here? You basically have to enter your passport information, your citizenship, place of birth, number and series of your passport, country of birth, and when the passport was issued. This is very important because these details later on go on your learning agreement, so be careful when entering those. And please include your passport scan. When including your passport scan, what is important, that you can make a photocopy with your phone of your passport. Just make sure that the quality of the picture is good, so the information that you provide is readable and clear. And also what we ask is that students provide not one page of the passport, but 2 pages, which means that when you have a passport open, that means the first 2 pages when it's open. Yeah, like a book, basically. You add the scan, and that's all. Then you go on about entering your education information. Here you can enter everything required, so the institution name, type of the document, number of the document, so your high school diploma meaning. And the training level means that you graduated the high school most likely. Yeah, that's what is necessary to enter here. And one thing I have to mention, if you are still a high school student and you are in your last grade, and for example, you do not have yet your high school diploma, but you already would like to apply, then you simply need to specify this in your application. You will have there the field to enter some information in other section. You can enter there that you're a high school graduate, about to graduate, and then you're not required to submit your diploma. But what you can do, you can still enter the information here, because of course you can still write down what is your institution name, and at least the place where you study, that is the issued place, and also at least the approximate date of the issuance of your diploma. As for scan, you can add a scan from your school that certifies that at certain point you are going to receive your diploma. So that can be a transcript with grades for your last semester, as well stating, having a sentence that confirms your graduation in near future. When you have this done, the manager checks the information. If everything is fine, that usually takes at least, maximum 5 days. Everything is fine, then you will have a possibility to start your entrance exams. How does this work? You have then this exams profile open. You see their login and password and instructions. We strongly advise everyone who starts with exams to read first carefully the instructions. The instructions are offered both in English and Russian. The instructions will tell you that you will need to enter exams.tsu.ru website. This is the website. You will need to log in here using your login and password that is entered in your exam section on your admissions profile. By entering those details, you will access your exams, and you will see them. For software engineering, we have 2 exams, that meaning math and English. You will have in total 4 hours for exams, 2 hours for each. Be careful, there is a timer for each exam, so you cannot start, let's say you start a math exam in an hour, you decide, oh, I do it later. No, it's not how it works. If you decide to take an exam, you cannot stop it because the timer is ticking. So make sure that you have enough time, that nobody's going to interrupt you when you're doing your exams, because you have limited time. So you enter your profile, you start an exam, and you finish the exam. The same goes for both subjects, so for English and math. You can split doing exams. Let's say you do math exam one day and English exam on the other day. It's just important that as long as you start one paper, you finish it, and then you proceed to the other. You cannot interrupt in the middle of the paper. You can interrupt only 2 separate papers. Then also upon the results of your exams, they will show up to you immediately in the system because they are checked automatically. The admissions manager sees your results, and upon seeing these results, we can offer you a motivation interview, which we conduct via Skype. So we contact you asking your Skype details, and we just have a short talk about how did you find out about our school, what is your motivation to apply exactly for Tom State University for software engineering degree, maybe your background, what do you know in software engineering. So it's just basic talk about your motivation, about your desires, your goals. This is kind of introductory video chat that we have in order to get to know each other and to make a final decision on your admissions. One thing I probably forgot to say, that the minimum requirement for passing the exams is 45 points for maths test and 55 points for English. That is the minimal required of points. And I'll probably can come back to the slide. Just a second. I'll come back to the slides and I will tell you another important thing. Yeah, here you probably can see that I came back. You can see the slide. The tuition fees, it's 265 1,000 rubles per year. But if you pass your exams with 160 points or more, both, so that's the sum of both exams, math and English, you can get a study discount, which varies from 10% to 15%. Currently, we are still a little bit in discussion of the percentage of the discount. So I will publish this information for sure later on Facebook or other sources of our program. So you can be assured of what percentage of discount you can get. So this is about the admissions process. You can always ask questions via email. If you have anything regarding the admissions process, there's a help button in the system, and that you can always click to ask any questions. Can I please have next slide? Yes. Another very easy way to contact us and to discuss everything with us is to access our social media. You can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, and also here you can see the link to our website. Another important thing that I didn't say about our website is that if you enter our website, you can see there the entrance exams from the previous years. So basically, you can train a little bit and look up what are the tasks and what basically is asked during the actual exam. Also on our website, you can see the detailed curriculum description, some of photos and videos about our program and students and so on. So if you need more information, you always can consult our website. And of course, Facebook and Instagram, myself and my colleagues often are online, and we provide answers to all your questions almost 24/7. Well, of course, and having in mind that we have to sleep. But you can write to us anytime. We try as soon as possible to reply to all your requests, and you can drop us a message in Facebook if it's convenient, or in Instagram, and we will tell you everything you need to know about the program, about the conditions of the requirements, and so on. Discuss all the situations possible. So I think I can pass the floor to my colleague Agnia. So she will tell about the most interesting part of being a student. So of being a student in Tom State University and living in Tomsk.
Thank you, Eva. First of all, I would like to ask our listeners, our participants, not to hesitate to ask questions, and maybe to pass the word back to Eva first again, because we have got 2 questions on our chats, and one is directed exactly to you, Eva. So maybe you can answer the first one about if Russian and foreign students study together or no, and the second one about how to deal with COVID-19 situation right now, dedicated to applying and studying.
Yeah, thank you very much. Both questions are really important. First, about the Russian and English students. Yes, we actually even strongly support this method of both students, Russian and English, studying together. The situation is the following right now. We have English group studying fully in English that is well, mainly students from international background are studying, but also it's not an exception that a Russian student, if he or she wishes, can apply for an English taught program. For Russian students, we have a fully Russian taught program. And some students that international students that master Russian language to a certain level, they can also study with Russian students. So we do not have any well, preferences that if you're international, you for sure study English. No, if you're an international student, you have good skills in Russian language, you of course can go for Russian program. What is interesting about studying in English, this is a software engineering world where more or less it's very international community, and English language is very important. So what we do, we actually try to involve our Russian students as much as possible for this international community. So some of our classes for Russian students are mixed with the English students, so that first of all our communities can interact, get to know each other very well, and also share their cultural background and so on. One of those examples, in the first year we have the class called Intercultural Communication, and one of the basics of providing this class is that our groups from international and Russian students are mixed for sure, just to have the intercultural communication class really running in an intercultural setting, to have students together. So our campus, that's Agni is going to tell later, is quite international. We definitely do not separate, and we try to involve as much Russian students mix and mingling together. The reason we provide the program in 2 languages is that, of course, we understand the field is very much international, and English language is prevailing probably. So we hope that in the near future we will have more and more also Russian students applying for this program, to have a truly international expertise in all our classes. For the COVID situation, that is a very very important question for all of us right now. All, as you can see, even us here, we are sitting in the different rooms and doing this webinar in different locations. For our students, they're already for several months studying online. They're living in the dorms, but they have a limited access to our facilities because we have arranged everything as possible to have all our classes conducted online via our e-judge system, as Danila told, and also other educational platforms, to have as much as possible convenience for everyone. As for 1st of September, that is approaching, we definitely are going to a little bit prolong the application process, because usually applications would run until 10th of July. But having this situation, we will extend the deadline until at least the beginning of August. We are very much dependent on the decision from the executive board of the university. We are monitoring the situation every day, and for now we do not have a final decision yet, but we think that most likely we will start the first year, the academic year 2020-2021 online. But that doesn't mean that our education quality is going to drop down. We are now already preparing all the materials, changing platforms, and doing everything that our classes would run. And we are planning to record all the classes and also have live classes, so that everyone is feeling to fullest as possible our communication, and like is it like having a class on campus. As soon as the situation clears out, and we really hope it gets better already very soon, and students can travel, of course, we have a visa support office that is always ready to help all our students. And as soon as we have certain regulations, we inform our students via our Social platforms, as I said, Facebook, Instagram, and also our website. We inform them about all the algorithms, how to deal with their visa questions, and so on and so forth. I hope I answered your question. I'll be happy to answer any more if you will have.
Again, thank you, Eva, for describing all the important points about applying, answering these questions, especially about the COVID-19. And right now, I'm ready to tell you a few words about Tomsk city itself, about Tomsk State University students' activities, and what you are going to do here while living and studying. Next slide, please. So Tomsk city is located in the heart of Siberia. We have a really unique location. We have a population of about 500,000 people, and almost each fifth person here is a student, because we have 6 state universities and 1 private institution. That's why Tomsk is the only college town in Russia. Tomsk State University is one of the best universities in Russia, and these are not just words. Right now we are on 278th place in QS rankings of top universities worldwide. We are called most internationalized university in Russia according to Times rankings, and that's how it looked like. Next slide, please. Living costs, a very important issue. We decided to give it to you in examples, in actual examples. The currency of Russia is rubles, but you can see the living cost in dollars to make it more easy to understand. So all international students are given with a place in the dormitory in a room of 3 or 4 persons. I would like to pay your attention on the fact that it costs a little bit more than $100 a year, not even a month, but a year. I guess it's really affordable number. So if we will have a look at how much will cost one room flat in Tomsk, it's about $155, $180 a month. So you can compare the numbers. We really recommend you to get a medical insurance while staying in Russia. It will help you if you will catch a cold, which is possible because you know Siberia is a pretty cold place, especially in winters. The price is also approachable and fine, starting from about $12 up to bigger number. So city transport is also has pretty fine price. If you talk about food, what and how to buy and eat, you can see examples of standard issues, standard things like meat sausages, macaroni packs, and several examples of vegetables. The prices are different. They could be different. They can be different in different seasons. Like in summer, they will be less expensive. And when you come into Russia, especially to Siberia, especially when winter will come, you need to warm up to buy proper clothes. So, for example, a pair of winter boots starting from about $30, winter jackets starting from about $40, and For example, T-shirt you can buy starting from $4. Next slide, please. If you talk about infrastructure, all living facilities of TSU are located in about 10 or 15 minutes walking from the campus. So we have a dormitory, we have a hostel, so you can choose where you will live. Next slide, please. What activities TSU suggests for students? There are many, maybe basic things are volunteering and what is important for international students, intercultural interaction. Next slide, please. First of all, we have a great support for international students coming to study here with the help of TSU Online volunteering organization. I used to be a part of this organization. I used to be a volunteer there, and I know how it works from the inside. Volunteers help international students to socialize in TSU and Tomsk. You can be given with a personal so-called buddy who will answer your questions, who will communicate personally with you. Organization TSU Online team organize different events helping international students to get in the community, to get acquainted with Russian culture, and so on. So when you will come here, you will be met and you will feel comfortable here. Next slide, please. Another volunteering center, Univol, they work not only at TSU but also in the city. They have three main directions: organization of events by themselves, educational direction, and international direction, where volunteers have a chance to go abroad. They help with organizing the different events in the city, and not only Russian but also international students can participate as volunteers in this organization. Next slide, please. Intercultural interaction part of Tomsk City University. We have a lot of different activities. We have speaking clubs, Russian speaking club, English, German, French speaking club started to work not so long time ago. We have international football team. We have different art and cultural associations. We have international student theater started by students themselves by their initiative, and also our international students also organize different events. Next slide, please. Russian-speaking clubs is organized for those who would like to become more fluent in speaking Russian, organized 2 times a month to give you a chance to communicate in the comfortable atmosphere in Russian language. Next slide, please. Confucius Institute. This organization help the city, our students to get acquainted to Chinese culture. They organize different events. They also have a course of Chinese language, and our Confucius Institute is recognized by headquarters as one of the most effective units between all the units all over the world. Next slide, please. If you would like to go for sport, here you have a chance. We have mandatory physical education classes for the first 3 years. And also, as extra possibility, we have international football team organized about 3 years ago. Next slide, please. Actually, we have a lot of different sport directions. We have a big swimming pool. You may go to university gym. You may play basketball, volleyball, and so on. Next slide, please. We have different art and culture associations here, theaters, amateur and professionals. So we have orchestra and lots of concerts held here from time to time at our main building. Next slide, please. Cultural initiatives organized by international students. Tomsk is already and continue to become more and more international city. We have different national communities here, pretty big, by the way. Lao community, sorry, Vietnamese community, Chinese community, of course, Africa country community, and so on. And because connection between students is strong, they organize events dedicated to their native culture. So, for example, our Lao students celebrate a New Year, Lao New Year every year. Vietnamese students suggest to us different concerts from time to time. And also we help our volunteering team help students of TSU to organize so-called country presentations, where you have a chance to present something to describe your culture, your country, to interested students and guests on this presentation. So next slide, please. Actually, that's all about TSU and Tomsk in general. And I think we have a question directed to me. Please tell what to do in spare time in Tomsk. Tomsk is a very young city. It has a lot of different chances to do something interesting in your spare time. We have beautiful parks, areas to walk around. We have pubs and bars to have a good time with your friends. We have different cafes. We have a lot of museums. We have several art galleries. So you have a chance to have your spare time very interesting. If you don't know what to do, if you don't know where to go, you may also ask. You may always ask for help from me or from volunteers in TSU online organization. What I would like to add there that Tomsk provide different big events from time to time. For example, Tomsk Citizen Day, where we have a lot of events all over the city. We have very interesting X Day, where presented the competition of carving different sculptures of wood. In winter, you may enjoy ice sculptures in the main square of our city, also made for competition. So there are a lot of chances not to get bored here in Tomsk. So I hope I answered your questions. Yes, my colleagues also helped me to not to forget about theaters and cinemas that we have in Tomsk. So it's a really live city with a lot of possibilities to to not get bored in your free time. And we have one more question. Also, please tell how the communication takes place with teachers. Very interesting question. The most of the communication basically is held through Google Classrooms system. Each subject has its own Google Classroom, and you may contact teachers there or directly with emails. If you talk about communication with me as a manager of international students, we communicate with students via Facebook. We have a common chat where we can exchange all the important information and where I send all immediate news and important information. So right now they are two basic platforms, but because of COVID situation, we have more online platforms using for studying, including Discord, including Zoom, including personal webinar platform for taking webinars and so on. So again, I hope I answered your question, and I would like to pass the word to Eva again, maybe to sum up our current webinar.
Thank you, Agnia. Thank you for your presentation. And before I sum up, I would like to add something. Probably the COVID situation has changed our life so much that Agnia forgot that except we have the online platforms for communication, we also, well, before the COVID situation started, of course, we were active in communication in real life. And I think it's important to say we get often those questions. I, as an admissions manager, often get asked from students, like the level of English by the teachers, and how the communication is built up. So if you look at the question from this point of view, well, all our teachers are English speaking, and we try to, before all our staff members enter the program, we test them and we work with them for providing their classes in English. And as Agnia mentioned, definitely we're quite international university, and the more we get international students, the more English-speaking professors and staff and so on we have. So for this, I always tell all the students who communicate with me that you should not worry. We have, well, at least for sure, one manager or several on the floor in the department and so on who speak perfect English. Some of them speak Chinese even, or German or French. As you can see, we have different English, not only English, but we have different speaking clubs. So we have an ample opportunity to practice different languages, and we definitely have staff with extraordinary skills, I would say. So you might even find somebody to talk your native language here in Tomsk among our staff. And another thing that I wanted to add to Agnia's presentation, she really takes care of our international students, and she takes care of them so much that sometimes she even goes shopping for winter clothes with them, so to make sure everyone is ready. But I hope this does not scare you away about the weather conditions. It's not so cold. I actually have to point out that this April we had one of the probably the warmest Aprils in the history of Tomsk, because we had already in the middle of April, like 15th of April, we had 30 degrees, and we all were walking without our coats and just t-shirts, which is very nice weather for Tomsk. This summer we expect a really nice weather, so you shouldn't believe the rumors that Siberia is always about cold. Siberia is very different. It's a territory where weather conditions can change rapidly, for sure. Like now we have sunny outside, in like a couple of hours we can have a storm, but the sun is always follows the storm. So it changes quickly, and you can see here definitely very different seasonal changes. So at least for this, it's really worth experiencing the very specific nature. And maybe to add also on your spare time in the probably not after school, but maybe during the vacation period, we always, also our volunteers, they organize different trips to the surrounding cities and regions, to Altai, for example, republic that is nearby Tomsk, to Kemerovo region, also Novokuznetsk, where the Sheregesh skiing resort is located. So in winter, our students very often go to Sheregesh for skiing. In summer, you definitely can have a very nice mountain rest in Altai. It will take a little bit longer, but we also travel to Baikal Lake, one of the most beautiful lakes in the world. And by being here in Siberia for 4 years, you'll definitely have a great opportunity to visit such places that you probably would not visit in your ordinary, well, life setting. That would definitely require quite some planning and probably other investments, effort, and so on. But while being a student in Tomsk State University, you definitely can experience a lot of interesting events. You can visit places, and that is why Agnia is our international manager, and she knows a lot and can show a lot. And also the TSU Volunteer Center can support many trips. So I think I can talk a lot about everything in Tomsk, but we should wrap up. Oh, I got a question here. Can we do internships? Well, yes. As Danila mentioned in his presentation, our students can go for an internship already starting in their 3rd year. Of course, the prerequisite is the academic excellence, because, well, all students on the equal basis, they go through the interview process with the companies. So we train everybody, and when going for an interview, everybody is and everyone is responsible for oneself, and the internship, the outcomes of you get internship or not depends on the student, how well he's prepared for the interview and how well is his background. Yes, international students have the same possibilities as Russian students due to going for internships. As also mentioned by Danila, our companies here in Tomsk, they do have their headquarters in Tomsk, but many of them have their branches in other cities, for example, in Moscow, also in Europe, in America. And well, software engineering probably definitely is very internationalized field that can allow you working from anywhere. So basically our companies also are interested in having talented students working with them here in Tomsk. So yes, our international students have the same opportunities to get an internship as well as all Russian students. I hope I answered your question. Do we have any more questions, or we can wrap up? As I can see, no more questions. My colleagues are silent. So thank you very much for joining us today. I hope we provided as much information as possible for you. As I said, we're always welcome and open for any questions. So you can ask questions via Facebook, via Instagram. You just need to type software engineering, Tomsk State University, and you can find us in the messengers and write us a question, or you can use an email. This is also indicated on our Facebook page to write us an email. And don't forget, if you want to apply for a program, please register via admissions.tsu.ru and leave your application there, and we will contact you and support you via the admission process. So I hope to talk to some of you via the admission process. Thank you for being with us today, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.